You're walking alone to your car at night. Your keys are already between your fingers. Your eyes keep flicking to the shadows between the streetlights. You tell yourself you're being paranoid, but the real answer is far stranger than paranoia. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's running a program that's almost 2 million years old, and it has never once been updated. Think about the last time you felt a sudden chill on the back of your neck in an empty room, or the way a rustling bush makes your whole body freeze before your mind even catches up. That's not anxiety in the modern sense. That's a system built for a world that no longer exists, and you're still living inside it. For most of human history, you were not the most dangerous animal in the room. You were the snack. Leopards, hyenas, crocodiles, and giant eagles all hunted early hominins as a normal part of their diet. The anthropologists Donna Hart and Robert Sussman spent years gathering fossil evidence of this, combing through cave deposits in South Africa, where ancient leopards had dragged hominin bones up into trees to eat in peace. Tooth marks on those bones tell a quiet, brutal story. Your ancestors weren't just occasionally threatened. They were, for long stretches of prehistory, a reliable part of the food chain. That single fact reframes the entire story of human evolution. Hart and Sussman argue that being hunted, not hunting, shaped the human mind more than almost anything else. Not the spear, not the campfire. The constant background hum of being prey. Every instinct you have for scanning a room when you walk in, every flash of dread at a strange sound in the dark, traces back to that pressure. Millions of years spent as someone else's meal don't just disappear because you invented agriculture and started ordering food instead of fleeing from it. So why does this matter to you? Scrolling your phone in a quiet apartment, far from any predator? Because your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a leopard in the grass and a stranger walking too close behind you. It runs the exact same circuit. Fast. Automatic. Before language, before logic, before you've even decided to be afraid. That circuit has a name. It's called the amygdala, a small almond-shaped cluster of neurons buried deep in your brain. The neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux spent decades mapping exactly how it works, and what he found changes how you should think about every panic you've ever felt. He discovered that sensory information doesn't travel in one neat line up to your rational mind for careful review. It splits. One path goes the long way through the cortex, where you actually think and reason. The other path is short, crude, and almost embarrassingly fast, and it runs straight to the amygdala. The amygdala doesn't wait for your conscious mind to assess a threat. It reacts first. It floods your body with stress hormones in milliseconds, long before the thinking part of your brain even knows what happened. Your heart rate spikes. Your pupils widen. Your muscles tense. You don't decide to be afraid. You discover that you already are. This is why you can jump at a shadow and feel embarrassed half a second later. The fear arrived before the explanation did. Your ancestors who hesitated to think it through were the ones who got eaten. The ones who flinched first and asked questions later survived to pass that wiring down to you. Isn't it strange that your most embarrassing reflexes are actually proof that your bloodline won? Here's where the story gets stranger still. Your threat detection system isn't just fast. It's selectively, almost absurdly, fast for certain shapes. In a landmark study, the psychologist Vanessa LoBue tested how quickly children and adults could spot a single snake hidden among pictures of flowers, frogs, and caterpillars. People found the snake significantly faster than any other object, even very young children who had never been taught to fear snakes at all. Something ancient was already running underneath the learning. That single result tells you something enormous about the architecture of your own attention. You are not a blank slate that fear gets written onto, one experience at a time. You arrived preloaded. Long before you could read or talk, some part of your visual system was already tuned to notice the exact silhouette of a predator. None of that had to be taught to you. It was inherited, the same quiet way the color of your eyes was. Now here's the twist that changes everything you think you know about modern anxiety. You'd expect, after millions of years of evolution, that your fear system would have gotten smarter, more precise, better at telling real danger from harmless noise. It hasn't. If anything, it's gotten worse at filtering, because the world filled up with new shapes your alarm system was never built to interpret. A buzzing phone at 2 a.m., a red notification badge. None of these can physically hurt you, but your amygdala doesn't know that. It still floods you with the same chemical signal once reserved for a lion in the grass. The biologist Robert Sapolsky studied this exact mismatch in his research on stress physiology, comparing humans to zebras on the African savanna. A zebra's stress response switches on the instant a lion appears, and it switches off the instant the lion is gone. Simple, clean, functional. The zebra doesn't lie awake that night replaying the encounter, but your stress response doesn't switch off that easily because your mind can manufacture lions out of memories, emails, and imagined futures. You can be sitting safely on your couch and still be hunted entirely by your own thoughts. Doesn't that sound exhausting? Because it is exhausting, and your body has no idea the danger was never real. This is the quiet tragedy hiding inside your most ordinary days. Your body is built to handle short, intense bursts of danger followed by recovery. It was never built to handle danger that never fully goes away. A bad email at 9 a.m. can leave your cortisol elevated for hours. You are walking around with a survival system designed for sprints, except now you're being asked to run a marathon that never quite ends. And the deeper irony is this: the very sensitivity that kept your ancestors alive is the same sensitivity that now makes modern life feel so loud. The hypervigilance that once meant the difference between life and death now shows up as restlessness in a meeting. As a racing heart before a text message you're scared to open. You're not broken. You're just standing in a world your instincts were never designed to read. So what do you do with a brain like this? You can't switch off the amygdala. You can't argue your way out of a fear response that fires before your reasoning even wakes up. But you can change what you feed it. Every time you name what you're feeling, instead of reacting blindly to it, you give the slower, newer parts of your brain a chance to catch up to the ancient ones. You're choosing, instead of just surviving. There's something almost moving about that. The same system that once kept a small, fragile primate alive on an open savanna full of teeth and claws is the very same system whispering to you right now, in a quiet room, with no predator in sight. It hasn't failed you. It's just old. And maybe that's the real lesson hiding underneath all the anxiety, all the racing thoughts, all the nights your mind wouldn't let you sleep. You were never broken. You were just born with the instincts of a hunted animal, dropped into a world that finally, after 2 million years, stopped hunting you back. So tonight, when you walk to your car and your eyes flick to the shadows one more time, you'll know exactly what's happening. That isn't fear malfunctioning. That's 2 million years of survival quietly making sure you make it home.